Hey y'all, welcome back to The Crazy. I'm Leslie and this is Fat Cat Flossing, my YouTube channel about needlework, mostly cross stitch, sometimes a little bit of this, that, or the other that gets thrown in. Today is Monday, I think, May 13th, and this is FlossTube number 151. And I'm sorry, I have something tickling my eye here. Probably a cat hair because of my house, you know, what are the odds? But anyway, I am back after over 2 months. Thought I would be back around the 1st of April, but my elbow, while it is much, much better, it's not quite 100% yet, and I still can't, like, cut mat board or whatever. I kept thinking I was going to get some stuff framed. There's my stack. It's still there. And I thought I would, yeah, but no, I haven't got anything finished, so I have no finishes to show. That's what I was waiting on. I kept thinking I would have some, but, you know, life happens, and it is what it is, and sometimes we just don't get it done. I'm sorry. I have a ragged edge here. Okay. Now I won't stag my floss when I pick it up. Anyway, I'm finally back 2 months later with some stitching to show. Like I said, my elbow is much better. I can stitch at night now for, I usually get probably on average 3 hours of stitching a day. Sometimes I'm bad and sneak in some during the afternoon, but that's my averages. In the evening I'll stitch. But it's just been the usual busyness around here, and I just didn't get it done. Like I said, it's been busy. My first kittens, my girls got a really late start this year, but my first 2 litters of the year are here. Lottie had her babies actually down at my friend Charlotte's on April 25th, and they came home to me a couple days later because Charlotte and I were meeting up. But she had them down there with Charlotte, but they're here and they're doing good. And then Dingy had her babies about 10 days ago on May 3rd, and she's got 4 fat, beautiful little babies, so I'm thrilled. And I've got a couple more girls that are due, and one's due in about, I think, 10 days, and one is due the first week of June, I think. So I love having babies. Makes my heart happy. Other than that, it's, you know, we've been on the wild weather roller coaster here. I'm in Northwest Arkansas, and we have, while the weather's been crazy and crummy, and you can see it's gloomy and yucky outside again today. My yard is a foot high, y'all, because it's too wet to mow, and has been for weeks now. But we are blessed because while we've been woken up a couple of nights by the tornado warnings and sirens going off, we haven't actually had it happen here, knock on wood, and thank God. And my heart just goes out to everybody across the country who has been affected by the crazy, crazy weather. You are all in my prayers, and I hope nobody watching has had to go through that. But just know that I'm praying for everybody. If I had more concrete help, I'd give it, but what I've got are prayers. But they are heartfelt. I had an email conversation back and forth with Kathleen Salak of Kathleen's Trodden Trail, and y'all should watch her if you don't. And she, apparently one of those tornadoes near Omaha, Nebraska went very close to her house, and she was just said it was terrifying, and I can only imagine. I mean, it just scares the bejesus out of me. You know, I grew up in South Texas, and we had hurricanes, but you can get out of the way of a hurricane. You got notice. That tornado thing, not so much. So anyway, I'm just praying that the worst of the crazy is over with. I hope everybody got to see the northern lights. We didn't. We had overcast, so we didn't see happy squat. But anyway, I hope a lot of you got to see them, because that would have been pretty special. Other than that, just keeping on. Doing a lot of bird watching. I don't try to tan, and I've got my little farmer's tan going here, because I get brown if I get in the sun. And I'd like not to look any older than I actually am, and my skin's not in great shape, so I don't try to. But I've been sitting out on my deck with my little Merlin app and listening to the birds, because we have lots and lots of migratory birds through here, because I'm in a heavily forested area, and they're awesome. That's a lot of fun. Hubby and I have taken a couple of day trips to do some bird watching. But anyway, y'all are here to hear about cross stitch, and I'm 5 minutes in, so let me shut up and talk about cross stitch. I do actually have a couple of finishes. Now, back at the beginning of the year, I showed that I was gonna, you know, I had all that stuff planned that I was gonna do. All I gotta do to not do something is plan to do it. Because I've only, I think, pulled one thing out of that stack to start on. Everything else has been just random. I want to do this. This is the home needle book from Shepherd's Bush. And this was part of my market haul. And I don't, let's see, I don't remember when I started it. I don't remember. I got it from market and I started it very shortly thereafter. And I finished it. Now, of course, it's not made into a needle book yet, but I did finish the stitching. Get my board. There it is, you know, the one with the corner chewed off of it by the dog. There it is, and I think it's super cute, and I do hope to actually make this into the needle book. This is stitched on the kitted linen, which is a 32 count with all of the kitted flosses, and it came out really cute. And of course, when it's finished, the little house will be on the front, and then you'll turn it over and see this on the back. So I thought it was super cute. And that one will be, I guess I shouldn't put that up, huh? That one will be a giveaway when I am done making it into a needle book. Sorry, laid it on my computer keyboard. And this kit did come with the actual finishing material, so hopefully I'll get to that soon. Before I can get to that, I have some sewing I have to do because I need more baby blankets for my kittens. And I have some, I promised to make some project bags for a friend. And I just one thing and another, I've got to get my Social Security application done. Woohoo! Because I'd like to get paid something before Social Security dries up and goes away. But what are the odds on that? My next thing, this is also a SAF, a start and finish. This is 'Tis Spring from Brenda Gervais. And I started this, well, actually, I don't know when I started it, but I finished it on April 1st. And this is stitched on 32 count. This is a mystery linen from R&R. I do not know what it is. I had it marked as an R&R, but I wasn't bright enough to write down the actual name of the linen. And I usually, you know, typically it seems like the last few years I've stitched more on 40 count than anything else. But I had this and I thought it was the right size to do this, so I used it. I think it came out great. I used miscellaneous silks from my stash and silk floss as a whole, unless you're specifically trying to work with some of the finer ones. Sorry, my shoulders are gonna die. I can't do that anymore. But 32 count and a single strand of silk floss works great. So, and my plan is I don't know if I'm going to do this one as a pillow finish or a little flat fold. We'll see how the spirit moves me when I get there. There are my silk flosses that I just pulled from stash. So that was the second one I had. Lord, y'all, I got a mess. What a mess. What a mess, what a mess. And then I had one kind of larger finish. This, I started this with my friend Jane from Running with Scissors, Stitching with Jane and Julie. And we decided to sell this last year. I think we started maybe in, I think maybe July, but you know, I've slept since then and I don't remember. This is Wisdom from Teresa Kogut, and I think it is beautiful. I love the sentiment of it. I wasn't crazy about the colors. I am just not a neutral girl. I am, I like me springy, pretty, bright colors. And so when I kitted this up, and I did kit this again with silks from my stash. I actually have some clips here I can use, so I guess I should. Anyway, I kitted this up with silks from my stash. And I did convert all of it to a much brighter palette than what is called for. And here's my finish of Wisdom from Teresa Kogut. And you can see my color, oops, upside down. My color palette is a lot brighter because that's just me. Nobody's ever accused me of being shy and retiring, and my colors reflect that. Again, I just went through, I knew I wanted the pinks and the purples and kind of the springy greens. I made a mistake in the color value of this house, but after I had it done, I just didn't want to rip it out. So it's kind of that dark spot there, but I should have gone with more of a, maybe like a clay pot kind of color, more of a terracotta, something with a lighter value than this super dark red. I mean, it's a cute little house, but the red is too dark for the rest of my palette, but live and learn, right? That is fairly close to the color that was called for in the, well, no, it's not. It's even darker than the color that was called for in the original. But anyway, again, it's a live and learn. I should not have just picked out a random red that I liked. I should have looked at the red in the context of the other colors, and I just had a brain spell and did not do that. The other issue I had with this one was I was stitching over here and I think I was stitching the letters and had an oh my god moment when I discovered a small hole, and I think it was like 2 vertical and 4 horizontal, or maybe the other way. I don't remember right now. But anyway, there was a hole in my linen with several threads cut. And I think most of the threads that were cut were the horizontal ones, because I know if I had tried to pull the thread and weave in more, I had already completed the basket and it was going to disrupt the stitching in this basket, and I did not want to stitch the basket again. So instead of trying to weave in a thread, what I did was, oh, looking at the wrong side. It's on this side. Same song, second verse, but there's where the hole was in my linen. It was right under where I stitched this additional border. I just put some fusible interfacing. And then this is not that checked border, excuse me, is not called for in the pattern. But I was concerned that when I go to, when I stretch this fairly aggressively, when I'm ready to frame it, I just wanted something else holding stuff together. That's what it boiled down to. So I did add that checked border, pardon me, around the edge to kind of stabilize it a little further. And you can see the check border goes right over where my hole was there. So anyway, it's done a little differently than what it's charted, but I'm pretty happy with it. I finished this on Friday, I think, and I really need to go back and find a place to put my initials. I think that little hole there might work if I do the very tiny 1/1. But anyway, I need to find a place to go back and add my initials and the date, because I do plan to frame this. I think it's a really pretty piece. I love the colors in it, and I love the sentiments. And the sentiments say, be harmonious, judge not, that ye not be judged. That's one of my favorites. Kindness is wisdom, and above all, love one another. And then over here in the cartouche, it says, 'tis not fruitful to lift one up by belittling another. And again, those are words to live by. Anyway, I love this. I debated on whether I was going to actually do the alphabet that's scattered throughout it, and I ended up doing it. And I just, again, picked colors from what I had already pulled out and randomly did the color of the letters. I did the little bees as were called for, and they're cute. But I'll tell you, I honestly think, and this is unusual for me because I love bee stuff, I actually think that I liked this pattern better without those. I think they make it a little busy. So I'm not going to rip them out because, again, I don't like ripping out. I'm ready to be done. But if I had it to do over again, I might not have put the bees in. I might not have even put the alphabet in. I think it would have been fine. I think there was enough content in it that it didn't really need it. But again, it's done and I'm not taking it out. That's my 2 cents worth on that. So there it is, the Wisdom Sampler from Teresa Kogut. And it sure is pretty, and I'm very, very happy with it. I just need to take the time to go ahead and put my initials in, because I should. That's stitched on a linen from Farm Girl Dry Goods. That is my only Patreon, is Farm Girl, and I love her content, and when she does a lot of other crafty things. And this is 40 count golden hour from her, and again, I just pulled miscellaneous silk flosses from my stash. So I've got a lot of silk I can put back in my silk box now. And when I used to put my silk in, I used to put all my floss in floss away bags. I don't do that as much anymore because I'm old and lazy, and I decided it was too big a pain in the butt getting them in and out of the bags, which really shows you how lazy I am. But anyway, when I store them, I just put them inside my linen and wrap them up, and that way they're not rubbing on other things in my project bag and getting fuzzier. So that's my solution to that particular dilemma. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to bend over here and pick up this pattern I dropped. So that was the Wisdom Sampler from Teresa Kogut. And again, really, 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 really love that one. I'm not going to zip stuff. I am going to put it back in the bags because I have such a big mess anyway. I don't need to add to that. Lord knows it's enough. So those were my 3 finishes, and I was very happy with those, especially with finishing one of my kind of bigger projects. So the next thing I pulled out, this is Heart and Hand from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And I saw somebody working on this, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, because I've had the pattern for a while. But I really, really like it. I like the little farmer and his wife. I like the bee skep. So I pulled that out and worked on it. This is not an older whip. I've had this going for, probably started it sometime within the last year, but you know, it's not years old like some of mine. And oops, I've actually got a hanging thread. I don't usually do that. Oh well. I did this time, didn't I? So I made decent progress on this. That thread is going to drive me out of my tiny little mind. There's a reason I don't usually leave them hanging, because they bother me. Cat hair included for free. Let's see if I can do something with that to get it mostly out of the way. And here is my progress on Heart and Hand. I had, when I started, I had most of this done. Not all of it. I had most of the frame, that gold frame around there done. I had the words done. And when I worked on this, I added, hold on. Hold that thought. See if I can make it a little less wrinkly, because obviously I did not iron. That did not get done, along with many things. Many, many things that I did not get done. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this to this side. Nope. Missed with that one. But anyway, it's not centered, but oh well. So I had most of that gold colored frame, and it's really blowing out here. But I had the words, most of this gold frame, probably the basket, and at least 50% of these berries done. So when I pull this out, I added, I might have had 1 or 2 of those sheep done, but I added the sheep. It seems like maybe I had the guy's boots done, but I added most of the people, this basket and flower over here. All of this up here is new, where I've started the house and the basket and the willow tree. But pretty good progress. I don't know that I'll get it done the next time I pull it out, but I hope that I will at least make decent progress on it. Maybe a couple more go rounds and I can get this finished. We'll see. We'll see. But I think it is super cute. I really, really like it a lot. Like that little farmer and his wife. And again, that is Heart and Hand from Brenda Gervais. The linen is, I wrote it down, I know I did, 40 count Yahoo from Kitten Stitcher. And this is most of the called for cotton overdye flosses. If I did not have the ones that were called for, I did substitute a couple. Obviously I've got some DMC in there and, you know, a couple of Victorian mottos, but where I had the call for, I did use the call for. And the other flosses, I didn't change anything dramatically. If I didn't have whatever it called for, I'm using something that was very close to the call for anyway. Then I pulled out, this is a mess, y'all. I won't open it up because it is so ginormous, but that's my pattern. I am not good with spatial relationships. Like I have, you know, I hear so many people say, I did page 1, I'm 2 and 3 and so on and so forth. That doesn't work well for me. Number one, I'm a center starter for the most part. So it's harder to start from the center if page 1 is the upper left-hand corner or whatever. So I print them out and paste them together. This is Serenity Harbor from By the Bay Needlearts. This was my Christmas present, I think 2 years ago from my hubby. Told him what I wanted, he got it for me because I had real heartburn about paying $120 for the patterns, or maybe it was more than that. I don't know. They were $10 or $12 a pop for 10 or 12 sections, and I had issues. So anyway, that was my Christmas present, was the pattern and the linen. And it's such just a beautiful, beautiful scene. And I like the fact that it's kind of skinny and vertical because that's not how most of them are, and I like it. The linen is 36 count Heather from Fiber on a Whim. And I am stitching this with all of the called for DMC. We definitely need the board for this one because it is huge. Huge and wrinkled. I mean, there's more wrinkles than on my face. That's saying something. See if I can make it look semi-decent. I need like 10 boards and I could pin them all out ahead of time and then y'all wouldn't have to look at my wrinkles. But we're gonna go with this, such as it is. I've got so much DMC, that's the DMC laying on the keyboard that's making all the noise. So here's what I've got so far, which is, I'm gonna guess that I might be 20%, maybe. I mean, it's huge. What I did new was I filled in over here. You can see the darker blue there at the top, and I filled in most of this here. I had the fill in over on this side, but I came back and filled in most of this here. And then I added, I had some of this darker teal color. I don't remember how much of it I added, but I did add some of that. But then I got bored because it was all just filling in stuff, and I got bored and moved on. So I need to pull it back. What I need to do is, this needs to be like a couple threads a day kind of project. I have so many of those that if I would put a couple threads a day in, I would make progress. But most of this, I mean, there are obviously littler things and things that require quite a bit of counting, but there are also some huge blocks of color. But anyway, I've made progress and I'm very, very happy with it. And hopefully it won't wait another year before it comes out again. We'll see. The obligatory FlossTube pose, because at least if I pick my own picture, you don't find one of me picking my nose or something. And again, there's a huge amount of DMC here. And those are all the call for. More than one. And even with the DMC, I'll kind of roll them up because I figure any less wear and tear on them is a good thing. Ironing my linen would also be a good thing, but that's probably not going to happen. I'm going to roll it from the top down just to roll it a different way. I stitch in hand, and typically what I do is I roll up the left hand margin and just hold it in my hand and stitch on it. I am starting, like the rest of my body, I am getting more and more arthritis in my hands. I have fairly severe degenerative arthritis in my knees, shoulders, and back. And apparently that's spreading on, because now my hands kind of bother me if I've held it, you know, for a while. So I think what I'm going to do, and I'll let you know how this works, because hopefully I'm going to get it done fairly soon. I'm going to sew some little fabric tubes and stretch them and see if, and I don't mean very big, like maybe they'll be as big around as my thumb or a little bit bigger, and try wrapping the linen around them to hold in my left hand. And maybe if I'm not having to hold it quite so tightly, you know, maybe if I've got something bigger to hold, we'll see. Maybe it'll be better, maybe it won't, but I've got a boatload of fabric and I've got plenty of stuffing, so I'm going to try that and see if it helps anyway. Cross your fingers for me. Okay, my next whip was what? I hadn't worked on, I think this may have been my New Year's start this year. I started it somewhere around the first of the year. This is the Wool and Flax Company from Plum Street Samplers. I've had this one for several years. I don't see the copyright date on it because, you know, I blinked, and 2019. And I think I probably got this when it came out because it has sheep on it. So I couldn't resist. But I did get a start on this back in, I think, around the first of the year. And what I had, there it is. Lost my board again. Like I said, I started it back around the first of the year. And I didn't get very far because, you know, startitis. And I'm so sorry. My 3 geriatric Shih Tzus, or well, 2 Shih Tzus and 1 Pomeranian, are all snoring fit to beat the band. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. Anyway, here we are. I started this back around the first of the year, and what I got done around the first of the year was I got most of the ladies' dress, although you can see I've still got some fill-in. I got this sheep, and I had like this first flower and maybe part of this hill down here. So I worked on this Saturday after we got back from, we went to Mount Nebo, which is, I don't know, maybe an hour and 15 minutes from here. It's a very pretty state park, and we went out there and did some bird looking and listening. And I got a little bit of the green Saturday night, but then last night I got most of the rest of this green and some little sheep feet stuck in there. So what I'm probably going to do when I plan to work on this again tonight, and I will probably start coming up here with these sheep this way. There are, again, lots of blocks of color on this, and I will probably do some outlining, getting it to where I can, you know, do some fill in. This is 40 count, I think it's Dusty Road. Yeah, this is 40 count Dusty Road from Seraphim. So I don't know, since it's a 40 count, that it would really lend itself, you know, like to traveling, because of, I really can't see 40 count in the car. But anyway, I'm going to get a lot of bones of it in and see if I can just get it to where it's mostly a fill-in point. We'll see. I say that's the plan. That won't be the plan by the time I get to it, I guarantee. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking right this minute. And these are my silks. Again, just miscellaneous silk flosses from Stash. None of the call for. Typically what I do is look at the picture on the front and see what I've got in my Boxo silks, which is somewhere here. Oh, I don't know. Not where you can see it right now. It's back behind me. But I've got this, ouch, is full of silk floss. I've been collecting silk for a long time. I decided a while back that I need to stop worrying about, I don't want to use the silk. I need to use the silk. Life is short. Eat dessert. Use the silk. You get it. So anyway, that's the Wool and Flax Company from Plum Street Samplers. And then I think that was the end of my whips. What I've got now is new starts because I did those too. Because, you know, it's me. I had pulled out at the first of the year, like, I don't know, probably 20 patterns, things out of my stash that I like, oh, I think I should do this. I want to do that. You know how it goes. So I pulled out 3. I wanted to start something small. And this is 147 by 105, which I guess in the greater scheme of things is not exactly small, but it's not, you know, huge either. This is the, what's it called? Spring Basket Pinkeep from Stacy Nash. Anyway, I took my husband like 4, 5, 6 things and said, which one should I start? And it was close to Easter, and he said, well, it's got a rabbit and a chicken. You should start this one. So I did. And wrong bag. By the way, all the project bags, if you've seen any of these, are all made by me from Suzette, the primitive stitcher. I don't think she makes videos anymore, but she, if they're still up, she has a wonderful tutorial on bag making, and that's what I use to make my project bags. And here is my progress. I've got pretty good progress on this. Most of the basket, I still need to fill in the stripes on the basket, chicken, and most of the flowers, so I'm pretty happy with that progress. I worked on this probably not a week, but 3 or 4 days anyway. And this is 40 count paper bark, oops, from Fox and Rabbit. And I think where I had the call for, I used the call for, and I just subbed in from stash if I didn't have what was called for. Because I have, if you looked up metric crap ton in the dictionary, you would find pictured my collection of crafting stuff, including lots of floss. So instead of buying a lot of floss, I am trying to use a lot of what I have. Because while I think I'd like to live forever, I won't. I'll be 62 in July. I should use up stuff. I could stitch from now. If I live to be 157, or for that matter, 557, I would have enough without buying anything else new. And then some. Okay. This was a project. This is my next new start. And I am going to show you from a ways back. This is the Lessons in Abecedarian from Brenda Gervais, and it consists of, I don't have them, probably have them in order. Actually, that is number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns. Now, a couple of them have multiple patterns in them, like this one has 2 in them. And I saw, oh God, her name's gone out of my head, Colorado Cross Stitcher. She did these all together, and I loved it. It was just, you know, I've looked at them and looked at the little pillows, which is how most models of them are finished, and thought, those are really cute. But I didn't just go, oh, I gotta have it. Well, when I saw what Sherry, I think her name is Sherry, Colorado's Cross Stitcher, what she had done them, she put them all together. I'm going to briefly show this from way back here. This is them all put together. Now, what I did, Sherry said that she just started with number 1 and stitched across. I am not that coordinated. I needed a way to, put it together where I could see it. Again, we've discussed the fact that I'm not very good with spatial relations. I needed a way to aggregate it all together and see what it was going to be like as a whole. And this is a free cross stitch program, whatever, pattern making program called called Floss Cross, Flosscross. www.flosscross.com, I think. If not, you could search Floss Cross pattern and bring it up. It was extremely intuitive and easy to use. And what I did was just look at Brenda's original patterns and look at Sherry's, how she put them together, and put them together, you know, aggregated them all together. I'm going to have, I guess I'll show you this because there's nothing there. I'm going to have, there's a spot at the end here where Sherry put a quote about she stitched hers during the pandemic. And I think I'm okay with showing this far back. She's got said something, you know, stitch when the world stood still. I'm probably going to find something else because it's not the pandemic anymore. I'll find something else to put in here. I don't know what it'll be. It may say stitched by a grumpy old fat lady, which would be accurate. But I'll find something different to put in that kind of blank spot there. So, and this is my first experience, y'all, of stitching with the 100.3 silks. And I got a boatload of colors because we've already discussed my color fascination. Now, here is my linen. This is 46 count Jersey cream, I think, which I believe is an Access Commodities linen. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, it is a 46 count. It's tiny. I don't have any problem stitching on 36 or 40. The 46 has been more challenging for me. Not because so much I can't see it, but because I do stitch in hand using the sewing method. And doing because when you do the sewing method, you're in and out, in and out, in and out. Getting the needle wrapped around to do that in and out has been, like I said, more challenging. I've done some stabbing on that. But here's what I've got so far. And this is several days work, but it's so tiny. I've gotten the first part of the border up in that corner. And I did, again, I'm usually a center starter, but this one I just started from the corner. And I've started the yellow house on the first pattern. This one requires me to work in really good light. And I have used my magnifier some on it. It is not something I can do if I am tired. I need to be rested, well rested, not be having an allergy fit, and I need really good light and probably use the magnifier more than not. But that's my progress on the lessons in Abecedarian. That one I'll probably be working on until I'm 690 years old, but it started anyway. And then I had one more new start. And this one is thanks to my twin, Jane. Stitching with Jane and Julie. I think March was her birthday month, and she started umpteen shepherd's bush patterns. And I love shepherd's bush. They are my all-time favorite. I've stitched a boatload of them, and I plan to stitch a boatload more. And I was inspired by her and her shepherd's bush extravaganza. Pardon me. So I went through my stash of shepherd's bush stuff. Excuse me. And I have a lot of shepherd's bush stash. And I pulled out the Queen Bee sampler. Isn't she adorable? She's so cute. And I love me some shepherd's bush. So I was inspired by Julie and started on this. And I made real good progress until this is the 32 count kitted fabric. I don't know that they even mentioned the name. And it is stitched with silk flosses also from the kit. So I have got I started here in the middle with these basically black work butterflies, and I stitched up with a couple rows of specialty stitches. If you are new to specialty stitches, shepherd's bush kits are a wonderful, wonderful way to dip your toe in that pond. Specialty stitches are no harder than any other stitch. You're just following a different set of directions for doing them. And if you're not familiar, like I don't have to look at the instructions to do a long arm cross stitch or a herringbone stitch or a four-sided stitch. I know how to do those. But even the ones that are new to me, I can read the directions and do them. And the directions typically are pretty clear for shepherd's bush kits. So I got quite a bit done, including these letters are all 1 over 1. And then I got to right here. Now you'll notice those are a long arm cross stitch, these 3 rows of the gold there. Long arm cross stitch and a herringbone stitch. That is not what's supposed to be there. What's supposed to be there is whatever this is right here. She calls it Swedish weaving. It is not my experience of, and it doesn't look like Swedish weaving to me. I did it. There are 4 of whatever those little, supposed to be bees, I'm sure. There are 4 of them there. I got 2 of them done. I hated doing it. I hated the way it looked because that most of them are done in this center gold here, which is almost the exact same color as freaking linen. It just looked terrible. I did not like it at all. So I ripped it all out, put in some other stitches, and I'm just moving on. But then, you know, I got bored and I went on to the next thing. But if you are planning to do this, I would either get you some other floss, and at least if your kitted floss and your kitted linen are the same color as mine, I would change out those colors because you can see them on here. You could not see them on here. It looked terrible. It just looked like the linen was kind of pulled cattywampus. And I've done Swedish weaving before. It's not a stitch I enjoy doing, but I can do it without a problem. And this was just not attractive to me. So I changed it. So my suggestion would be, if you have this, and especially if your floss color is very similar to what your linen is, try it out. Maybe do one of those on you'll have plenty of border. They give you plenty of linen. Do one down at the bottom and see what it looks like and decide if you want to do all of them or not. And if you are going to do all of them, I would suggest that you consider changing the color of your floss because mine didn't look good. I'm sure plenty of other people, they look fine, but I did not enjoy the way they looked, and I did not want to continue with it. So I did not. I just changed it. That's a little bit of shepherd's bush blasphemy, but that's me. So that's where I got to on the Queen Bee sampler. That will not take me a long time to finish if I go back to working on it, because that went pretty quick what I got done. Okay, that's everything I've stitched on, and I really haven't done any wool applique or crochet or anything else. Seems like I did a little bit of work on that the little purse I was talking about making. I'm sorry, pardon me. But I saw a different squirrel and got distracted and didn't get that done either. Okay, my plans. This is, let me show the actual pattern. This is Spring Village from NikysCreations Primitives. Really pretty. I happened to, I was looking at Michelle's Farm Girl Dry Goods, her website for some reason. I don't know what I was looking for specifically. And I saw this and I thought, ooh, I really, really like that because I love spring stuff. And that's super pretty. Love it. But I have done one other NikysCreation pattern before, and I had trouble reading the pattern. And she sent me a PDF, which was beautifully clear. I mean, when I communicated to her that I had a problem with it, she acted on it immediately and sent me a PDF that I could stitch from without a problem. She said, and I communicated to her again and told her, you know, I really just can't see it. And she sent me the PDF. But even on the PDF, or what my printer generated from her PDF, let me put it that way, it was not super clear. It was going to be a pain in the butt to stitch from. So what I did was I went back to that Floss Cross program, and I just recharted. This is her exact pattern, just recharted, because I'm going to show again just a little piece. It generates really nice, and you can print in either black and white or color from that program. I just prefer the color because it's easier on my eyes. But I need to tape all my pieces together to make another huge pattern. But anyway, if my takeaway from this is a couple things. I'm going to be starting this before long because super pretty springy colors. I've got linen pulled out. This is 32 count Ocean Air from Fox and Rabbit. And I've got, again, a bunch of silks pulled from my stash. So I'm going to be starting that fairly soon, I hope. We'll see. Because, you know, if I plan to do it, I probably won't. But my takeaways from this are two. Number one, don't be afraid. Now, you know, it takes some time to put it into that program. But instead of not doing something that I want to do because the pattern is difficult for me to see, number one, contact the designer. Most of them are super responsive because they want you to stitch their stuff. They want you to do it successfully without being a pain in the butt. And Nikki was wonderfully responsive. And even if that is too difficult for you to see, like this particular one was for me, don't be afraid to use something like the Floss Cross program. And, you know, it took me, I think, 3 afternoons to input that into the program. But I would rather spend those hours, and it wasn't hard, it was just time for me doing it. To me, it was worth the time investment to make it where stitching it will be enjoyable and not a pain in the butt. So anyway, so that is all of what I worked on, and my plans are to keep stitching on my whips. That will probably be my next new start. We'll see. That's the plan right now. But that's where we are right now. What else? Okay. I had some Stitchy Kindness. I belong to, if there's a Blackbird's Designs group on Facebook, and I want to give away, you know, once it's Patricia Geary runs the group, I believe. And about once a week, she will post, and they're usually out of print Blackbird charts. She will post something on there, and you say, you know, me please, or comment whatever she asks you to comment. And in March, I won 2 patterns. Love them. I especially love this one. This is the, it's Loose Feathers pattern number 33, Keepsake Box and Pinkeep. And I love that. It's just a very classic Blackbird basket. You can see it's part of the, shoot, what were they called? I can't remember. Part of whatever that long series of patterns from them was called. And the other one is Climbing the Trellis, which was the Garden Club series number 7. I have several of the Garden Club patterns, but I did not have this one. So cool. So thank you, Patricia. I believe that there is also a lending library in that group where you can borrow a Blackbird pattern that's possibly out of print. So check it out. And I think it is Fans of Blackbird Designs. Don't quote me on that. I will try to look it up and link it in the show notes. I also want to give away from Kathleen. I mentioned Kathleen of Kathleen's Trodden Trail, Kathleen Salak, who is just a super, super nice lady. And if you're not watching her, you should be. She had done this little Mill Hill bird kit, and I'm all into the birds right now. And, you know, she had to comment, and I won the birdie. And he's tiny. Now, I am not going to bead him. And I'm not going to do him on perforated paper. I abhor stitching on perforated paper. So I will do him on linen, but he is just adorable. Looks like a little black cap chickadee to me. So cute. And then she was kind enough that she sent along multiple other patterns. And the ones that I'm keeping are the Hedgehog House from Lindy Stitches. Also super cute. And the Christmas Tree Farm from Twin Peaks Primitives. Like both of those a lot. And then she sent several others, and a couple of them I have duplicates of already in my stash. And then the other couple I thought, well, that's probably not something that I will get to stitching anytime soon. And I checked with her, and she was agreeable to me passing these along to you. So say thank you to Kathleen, because the first part of today's giveaways are actually from her, not from me. This is a complete Mill Hill kit. It is Christmas Jewels. This is Mill Hill 16-4302 Blue Topaz. It's a very pretty little Christmas ornament. Again, I just don't like stitching on perforated paper. This is some of the Lori Holt Be in My Bonnet stitch cards. And this is stitch cards. This is set S. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just fiddle farting with this and not paying attention. If you want the ornament, Mill Hill ornament kit, say Christmas Jewels. If you want the Lori Holt stitch cards, say Bonnet. She also included a copy of Rejoice Evermore from Brenda Gervais, and I have this in my stash. I stitched this last year for my son as a wedding sampler, and I plan someday to stitch it again for myself because it's so pretty. But I didn't need a second copy of it, so we're going to give this away too. If you're interested in Rejoice Evermore from Brenda Gervais, use the word Rejoice, R-E-J-O-I-C-E. And then the last one from Kathleen is this Christmas window pattern. So if you're interested in this one, and it's from Les Petites Decor. If you want this one, use the word window, W-I-N-D-O-W. Okay. I have some more things to give away, but let me do last week's, or well, 2 months ago's giveaways first. Firstly, now there are some that are nicely packaged up. This is the one I had taken out of the package to use. I haven't used it yet, and I can't find where I've put the nicely packaged up ones. The one I had out to give away has disappeared into the ether somewhere. It's probably fallen off the side of my desk, and I just need to scrabble around on the floor and find it. But in the interim, if you don't mind, you're getting the one I can lay my hands on right now. I'll put it in a baggie to ship it. And the winner of this one is Mary Lee Laird 8708. So Mary Lee, please email me at lesliedhurley@gmail.com. That will be in the drop down. And I have commented on your winning comment to tell you you've won. So please email me and I will mail that to you. If I can find one in the package, I'll send you one in the package. I finished this last year. This is Garden Fair from Annie B's Folk Art. And I asked people to comment with the word garden. And the winner of this one is Rose Heck 9841. So Rose, if you'll please email me, I will get this sent out to you. This was included, if you bought the new release flosses from Classic Colorworks that came out at market this year, you got a copy of this pattern. And I'm just not a monochromatic girl, so I won't stitch this. But I ask you to comment with the word classic, since it was from Classic Colorworks. And the winner of this one is Jane Freer 7167. So Jane, please email me. And then lastly, this is some chenille. I showed last time the chenille, some of the chenille carrots that I had made. This is a piece of chenille that I dyed. And it is 28 by 22 inches. And the winner for this one is Pam Peterson 3092. So again, Pam, email me and I will get this sent out to you. So that was the giveaways from last time. Now the rest of the giveaways from this time are these things. And these are ones that I had attempted to give away previously and people didn't get in touch with me. So we're going to give it another go. This is Bosom Buddies from Valerie Pfeiffer Harmonies. If you are interested in stitching these cute little birds, comment with the word Blossom, B-L-O-S-S-O-M. I don't care. You don't have to make a sentence. If you want to make sentences with these words, wonderful. If you don't feel like you have to, you just use the word, because that's the word I will search for. This is from JBW Designs, A Star is Born. And I would like you to use the word star, S-T-A-R. This is one I stitched. I think I finished this last year also. This is a Humble Heart from Shepherd's Bush. I have used the guts of the kit. It is just the pattern. You're not getting the linen or the floss or the beads or any of that stuff. But it is the pattern for a Humble Heart from Shepherd's Bush. Use the word humble, H-U-M-B-L-E. And then lastly, this was probably originally attached to an actual pot holder. It is a pretty strawberry pattern. And if you would like to win this one, use the word strawberry, S-T-R-A-W-B-E-R-R-Y. That's it. I'm done. That's all. So I got through that in 57 minutes. Let's see if I get signed off before we get to an hour. Thank y'all so much for participating and coming to watch. I hope you saw something that you liked, and I sure do appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me. I would love to get up to 5,500 subscribers. I think I'm around 5,100. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll give away another project bag and some other linen and goodies and all that kind of stuff if I get to 5,500. So, but in the interim, we'll give away this stuff here. I hope to be back in less than 2 months. What are the odds? We'll see. But however long it takes, I hope that you enjoy the end of the spring, the beginning of the summer. I hope everything is going well for you, and enjoy your stitching, and I will talk to y'all again soon. God bless y'all. Bye-bye.